All right, here we go.
I just have to hit got it. Got it. Okay.
Excellent. All right. Well, hello, whoever's listening today. I would love to introduce a dear friend of mine, Bear Decatur. So, hi, Bear.
Hey, Mary.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you for sharing. I'd love for us, I know you and I connected a few years ago. I'd love to have you share how we met, what brought us together, and then even yeah, with the work that we're doing to get together, and maybe we'll even be growing in this later year. I think what's going to be happening for us to help bring in the new world, right, and to bring in a
Yeah.
beautiful way of living here. So, yeah, would you love to share how you?
Yeah. So I read Bruce Lipton's book, and after I read the book, the Psych-K portion of it came up. And so I just started looking for where was Psych-K held. And then I found out it was held all over the world. So then I was like, okay, how do I find an instructor that I like? So I just started looking through, and honestly, it was just kind of the energy off your picture, if that sounds silly.
No, well, thank you
But
for
that's
that.
what it was. It really was that. And then the funny part was your training was about 7 months away. So I signed up for it. I think I connected with you to sign up for it. And one of my clients was also interested in signing up for it, a doctor friend of mine. And I said, okay, yeah, we'll do it together. And, so I kind of made a commitment to it. And then the 6 months goes by, and I'm working with her husband, and the husband goes, now Joan won't be here today. She's up in Michigan. I'm like, oh, what's she's doing up in Michigan? And he's like, well, she's going to that workshop that you were going to go to. And I had totally forgotten about the workshop. Um, but I really wanted to go to the workshop. So right after I finished working with him, I called you, or I think I emailed you, and asked if I could come. So I literally left work and drove up to Michigan. And so glad that I did, and I met you, and you're the perfect person for me to do Psych-K with. So I'm very thankful.
Awesome. Well, thank you. No, I so love it. I so love it. So we'll share with the group what Psych-K is, so that way people are probably wondering what is Psych-K, right? So, what would you
Well,
say Psych-K is for you?
for me, it's a way to connect with my subconscious in a really easy and graceful manner using just body muscle testing. And so for me, I knew that I had incongruent thoughts. I had thoughts, for example, around money, or like an easy one's with money, which is that, I would like to make more money than I make, for example, at that time. And I knew I had thoughts through religion that it wasn't and this is not the religion's fault, it's just my interpretation of it, that it was better to not make a lot of money, be a good person. So there was kind of like this incongruency of like, oh, could I make money and be a good person? And in my brain at that time, or my subconscious, that wasn't aligned at all. It was kind of an either or. And so Psych-K was just a really easy way to see what my subconscious believed. And it actually did believe that. It actually believed that um, it wasn't okay to make money. And so that was one of the things that I cleared through Psych-K. And it just made more peace around money. And then I did something with my health in one of the workshops. It was the second, the advanced course. And I can't remember, I think it was called Life Balance. And I
Mhm.
was up on a table, and the instructor was trying to just teach everybody what we're going to be doing the next day. And then at the very last minute, she goes, you know what, we'll just do it now. And I was like, okay, sure. And I won't go into the balance, but I was on that table for 2 hours going
Yeah.
through stuff, and my body started shaking. And at that time, I didn't understand what trauma release was, or anything like that. But I was going through my life events, and at the time, I had injured my foot, and my foot hurt quite a lot. And I got off that table, and my foot did not hurt at all. I mean, at all. I mean, not at all. And didn't hurt for a really long time after I had an actual injury. So I knew at some point I would probably push it too far, because I was really happy that I could use it freely again. But I was amazed that that exercise did that. That was kind of like my confirmation for me that this stuff works, and it reaches some places that I can't reach consciously. And I love the fact that you can learn to do it for yourself, and you can do these exercises at any time. You can do them in an airport, you can do them at your home. Nobody really knows what you're doing except for yourself, or somebody that's done Psych-K. They're like, ah, you're doing Psych-K. But I really like it. So I'm very thankful for it.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and believe me, I'm so grateful too. And so I love how our lives, because the world is changing so much right now, right? We're really being called. Would you agree the world is changing now?
Yes. It has changed so much. And I do believe that we're being called to, for lack of better words, just raise the vibration of ourself first, and then to help other people who are stuck or maybe don't know there's tools out there to raise their vibration or to make life easier. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, and that's exactly what it does. It helps people who are in that suffering energy or feel frustrated or stuck, right? We get points where we a lot of us think we're doing pretty well, and you're moving along nicely, but then something comes within us, right? That says,
Mhm.
"No, you know what? I need to make this change." And even for you, the fact that you even wanted to read Dr. Bruce Lipton's book, right, with the
Right.
biology of belief is huge on itself. And I think there's many of us that are hungry to learn and grow, right? And to keep evolving here. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have an amazing planet. I mean, we have everything to make us happy on this planet. I mean,
Yeah.
we have everything. So yeah, so getting out of our own way seems to be the first step, and then obviously helping others is the
Yeah.
second step.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. And I think, and this is the gift that when challenges happen to us, that it actually is a gift, like the COVID situation or the situation we've been going through these last 2 years, right? It's bringing up all kinds of stuff in people, right? Probably more than we could have ever imagined, right? And I
Mhm.
think people are changing. A lot of them are changing their careers, changing, maybe even, breaking up their relationships into moving new directions. It's maybe changing a lot of things. So, and we used to be afraid of change, right? But now, how about if we can believe at the subconscious level that change is our natural process of evolution, right?
Yeah, the change is good and that it brings us more happiness, and better health. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, would you agree? Like, how would you see yourself before Psyche, before you actually came to where you are now?
Um, I think I was more negative. I think in my thought processes, I think I was more unconscious. Maybe a better way of saying is I was more unconscious of my negative thought processes. And then when I started studying Psych-K and I started realizing that my subconscious was holding on to beliefs, I started looking at, okay, what beliefs am I reinforcing?
Mm.
And then I started looking at my daily pattern of what am I reinforcing? What am I thinking? So oftentimes I'll catch myself in a negative thought and I'll just cancel it. I'll just like, I don't want to think that thought. And then I'll test my body actually, because it's kind of like, oh, okay, if I'm thinking this thought, is it stuck in my subconscious? And I'll just test my body with a muscle test to see, does my subconscious believe that thought? And if it does, I'll clear it with Psych-K. And then if it doesn't, I'm just like, okay, good. So,
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, so then you can remember who you are, your true essence, and this is exactly what we're doing is cleaning out those conditioned programs of the things that we agreed to believe. And we got them when we were 0 to 7 years old, most of
right.
them. And then they keep repeating themselves until we're ready to take the self-responsibility to go within and make those changes, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, and Psyche is actually a beautiful tool to do that, which I'm grateful for, and I know you are too, right?
I
Yeah. So,
am. I'll share one other story that was really interesting to me. I had a client that had gone into PTSD in our session, and they were remembering that, and it really you could see the whole physical change happen in their body, and they got extremely emotional. And there's one aspect of Psyche which is just putting into people into the whole brain balance, where both left brain and right brain are kind of communicating to each other. Um, and so I just asked her, I said, would you like to try this? Not doing anything balance wise or anything like that, but just putting her into a whole brain pattern. And
mhm.
after about 2.5 minutes, it just stopped. And she was like, that was amazing. And she had basically just shifted her whole emotional state in 2.5 minutes. And when I asked her later, she goes, it would take me a day to 3 days to get to where I am right now. And it happened in 3 minutes. And I don't know if that happens for everybody, but I was like amazed, like that was really cool. And she uses it now all the time. So yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
and
pretty brilliant.
yeah. Well, and thank you for that because right, you do Pilates work, right? So the Pilates
I
is that
do,
the work
yeah,
you
Pilates and breath work. So I see
breath
people
work?
for their body, but then I see them emotionally. They will do things will come up in breath work. So it's
Right.
nice to have another tool.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the gift is it's a beautiful complement for whatever you're already using. And that's what I love about. And that's the whole point is we're meant to bring many things together. Like you say, the Pilates, offerings that you offer, your breath work that you offer. And then you agreed to have another tool called PSYCH-K, right, to also be used,
Right.
yeah, to help yourself in
Yeah,
other.
with the one individual, she was just discussing her story before we even started the breath work. So it was already up in her field, like it was ready to be released. But instead of releasing it, just kind of pushed her into her PTSD-ness.
Mhm.
And so it was just neat to let her do that. And then we did breath work, So it was yeah, it's a nice combo.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yay. So what if you could ask yourself, what if you can look back to when you first decided to come to a PSYCH-K workshop? Because with PSYCH-K you can have private sessions, which are still beautiful too. I do see clients and there's many PSYCH-K
Yeah.
facilities that offer one-on-one sessions, which is super important too. And then also to be able to come to a workshop to learn it for yourself, like you said, to have this tool, like you said, where you can use it within minutes and shift these things for yourself, right? Clear your path so you can live
Yes.
in the higher frequencies and more joy, peace, harmony, love, right?
Right. Correct.
Yeah. So if you could
So what? This is,
ask yourself, yeah, so ask yourself, what made you willing to enter into this space? Because there was a decision of when you made that decision, yes, I want to come learn Psyche. If you can kind of look back to that time, what made you actually decide to go? Because there's people that may hear it, but then it kind of passes them and they don't go. But what helped you to actually come to the workshop?
well, I think I knew that we have core beliefs and that the core beliefs regulate our mental health and actually our body. And I didn't know how to access the core beliefs. So when I read Dr. Lipton's book, and it was just about the biological aspect of how thoughts can affect our cells, I was really kind of key to doing it. But the program was 6 months away from the time that I found you, right? I was enrolled and I kind of forgot about it. So in a way, it was just the curiosity of the doctor
Mm,
that, like, okay, she was going no matter what. And I had kind of like, I was still interested, and obviously I'd already like deposited and done what I needed to do. Um, but it was kind of like an extra validation, I guess, like from another authority, because she was a doctor. So that was one aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it was I was just ready to shift what had been going on for 6 years with me. I had gone through some things 6 years previous that were so like heavy on my heart and my body. And I wanted to change. So I was ready for change and had done other work. So it wasn't like that was the only thing that I did, but it was the thing that was calling me the most. And then I was so glad when I had some of the experiences I had with it, that I was like, oh, I'm glad I have this tool. Because now, I mean, I use it every day. So how great is that to be able to use something every day that literally kind of gets you out of a rut, or gets me out of a rut, or any negative thought process. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, because we can get pulled into it so quickly, can't we? I mean, it's amazing, especially with all the negative like news or negative stuff or whatever. There's just a lot of junk coming up, right? And I call it all the shit is coming up. Like it is all coming up.
Yeah.
And the gift with Psyche is we get to actually turn that shit into fertilizer, into manure for us, so that we can actually fertilize our new way of being. So it's literally
That's a good analogy. I like that one.
yeah, like how cool is that if you can actually, wow, have a tool that can help you turn something that you might think is really tough, because a lot of us, right, we have all gone through tough experiences, right?
Yeah.
And when we do we want to keep repeating that? And that's the gift. Like what happened to you is you were ready for the change. You were ready to exit yourself out of that, right?
Oh, yeah, I would agree. I was definitely ready. And I agree with what you said. There's a blessing in all the adversities. It's just hard to see when you're in the mud of it, or the fertilizer of it.
Yeah.
It's it's hard to like say, oh, this is good for me, when you're like, not feeling that at all. So it was nice to shift it. And I took a private session with you when I got to Michigan, and that helped so much. So thumbs up on private sessions. That was a good, yeah, that was a good transition.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you, and I appreciate that you coming on. And the reason we are sharing this is exactly to let those know who are ready for the changes. That's who this is for. And if they're ready for the changes, it's just a decision, right? To say, you know what, let me look into this more. They might have to look into it more. Totally. Get Bruce's book, Bruce Lipton, or go to his YouTube channel, Bruce Lipton's.
Yeah.
Or like you say, something's gonna stir you, right? So, and then
Yeah.
and
If
then
I can
you're
say,
gonna have me. Oh, and saying you're going to have me come to Kentucky for in your Pilates studio.
Yeah, you're gonna come to the studio, and my friends and some of my clients are gonna come try this. So I'm excited.
I know, exactly. And then you and I get to hang out, which is so fun, right? And this is meant to be fun. So
That
really,
is true.
10K is actually, if I could say, it's fast, it's fun, it's effective, and it's your spiritual gateway for your alignment. So people that are ready for their spiritual gateway, woo, that's where actually where all the fun is. If I
You'll
can.
definitely laugh. You can't not laugh with Mary. So you can have
Yeah,
as many
there.
laughs as you want. Yeah.
That's for sure. Exact. Thank you. And if I can offer, I know my role here is to help people, those who are ready to change whatever they have lived through up until this point, whether it could felt like a battleground a bit, right, or even just dungeons, or even pits, or you can describe things in a lot of different ways. But we've had those periods where we're really tough of the sufferings, of the hardships, and that to find a really smooth, gentle, fast, fun, effective way to rise into our playground. I love to have a playground here. So I live in a playground with the fairies, yes. And that
That's
we
true.
really do have heaven here on earth, and would you like to come? And so this is the gateway for us, and it actually is within us. And that's the funny part, is that we help people go within themselves and to access that within them, and then be able to bring it out into their outside world, for us to have this live in our outside world. So yeah,
Oh, that's
you said
beautiful.
yes, and I'm so grateful that you did. I know, and I've even seen, if I can offer what I have noticed, the difference the first time I met you to where you are now is absolutely amazing, Bear. So it really
Oh,
is.
that's nice.
It is. And when I first met you, yes, I knew you were, very smart and very professional and very high integrity, very honorable, very kind to people. Those were all, you already had all those beautiful gifts. But I could tell that there was a sadness. There was a sadness within you, or there was just something blocking you from shining your light at a whole new level. And then where you are now, oh my goodness, I get so excited because your light is shining so bright. I'm like, yes. So I know I did my job.
It's okay.
Woohoo!
You
Yes.
did a very good job.
Well, thank you. I'm
Yes.
an igniter, and that's my role, and I help people ignite. Exactly. And you do have to go into those shadow spots, but you can do it in the most gentle way, like you said, and lift yourself into your light and into your love. And you have done that so beautifully, Bear. And I'm so grateful to know you, and thankful that we
You're
can.
so sweet.
Yeah, and that you can, now have it, bring it to your community in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and it's going to be the first weekend of March, right? The 3rd through the
Right.
5th.
It
Right.
is. Yes.
Excellent. So at the
So
end
come
of,
play if you want to play.
come play. Thank you. If you would like to play, come on. Exactly. We will definitely play. That's for sure. And I'll have the links so people to look into it. And it's just a decision. That's really when you decide, and you have it's the courage. It's a bit of courage and a willingness. But once you do and you make that decision, like you did, even if you forget about it, something will remind you to come to the workshop.
Well, the thing was, is I wanted to do it. It wasn't like I wasn't going to do it. I just forgot that it was that week. Life had shown up. So I was just kind of like, oh, crud. But I will say this, like, I can't imagine somebody taking the workshop and regretting it, because the tools, you just have them for your life. So it's worth taking the risk, to me, at least in my experience of it, and what I share to my friends and to my clients, I tell them the same thing. Like, you want to learn this, it's worth it.
Absolutely, thank you. And then you never know what the ripple effects are, and that's what's so precious, right? When you even just the difference you make for yourself, you really do make a difference for the world and humanity and everyone that you're around. So I know I've done that for my family and my friends, and the ripple effect, and I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful, and it's fun. It's wonderful to live in a life of fun and ease,
Mhm.
right?
I agree.
So let's go, right? This is the gateway. Okay. Well, thank you again.
Thank
Big
you.
hugs. I'll be seeing you in a few weeks, and then whoever else hears this and wants to come too, you'll come join with our party, right?
There you go.
I love
It will be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. A much celebration of beautiful changes. Good.
Yes.
All right. Well, you have
Okay.
a beautiful day. You